The tragedy of life is not that it ends so soon, but that we wait so long to begin it. Most people are not lazy, they're simply misdirected. Distracted by the chaos of the short term, pulled left and right by dopamine, urgency, and noise. They live their lives reacting, not creating. Existing, not building. Surviving, not succeeding. But there is a secret path. A narrow road walked only by the few. It's not hidden, just often ignored. It requires you to do something most people are never taught to do. To think long term, while acting with a sense of urgency that burns like fire in your bones. Success is not a trick. It's not magic. It's mathematics. It's direction plus intensity. Vision plus action. Philosophy married to discipline. You want to succeed? Stop chasing shortcuts and start building foundations. You want to rise? Then stop measuring your progress in days and start counting decades. Most people want what lasts forever but can't wait more than 5 minutes. They want the body, the wealth, the peace, the legacy, but they want it now, without delay, without sacrifice. That's not ambition. That's delusion. That's a mind infected by the disease of urgency, without direction. But here's the paradox. The ones who win, the ones who break free, the ones who rise from the dust and build kingdoms out of thin air, they do something different. They plant seeds like farmers, but move like warriors. They hold 100-year vision and still sprint today like their life depends on it. That's what I'm asking of you. To become that rare force. The one who holds eternity in their mind but moves like the clock is about to run out. Because it is. Let's talk about mindset. Not the fluffy self-help word, but the architecture of how you think. Your mindset is the software of your soul. It dictates how you see problems, how you interpret struggle, how you respond when life says no. A poor mindset collapses under pressure. It sees every obstacle as a sign to stop. It waits for motivation to arrive like a miracle. But a powerful mindset, that's different. It doesn't beg for ease. It prepares for war. It doesn't complain about the wait. It gets stronger. It doesn't wait for opportunities. It creates them. The right mindset doesn't look for comfort. It looks for clarity. And clarity is born from questions, not answers. Who are you becoming? What are you building? Where are you headed in 5 years? In 10, in 50? Don't you dare say you don't know. Not because you should have it all figured out, but because indecision is a form of slow suicide. Pick a direction, burn the boats, commit to something that scares you. If it doesn't shake your soul, it won't change your life. You must believe before the results. That's the irony. People want proof, but belief comes first. Belief is the foundation. Belief is the reason a single mother can build an empire. Belief is why an immigrant with no money can outwork everyone and buy the building they once cleaned. Belief is the difference between those who try and those who transform. If you don't believe, you will never begin. And if you don't begin, the world will never see what you were capable of becoming. So how do you believe? You build credibility with yourself. You do what you say. You stop lying to the mirror. You keep promises no one else sees. That's how self-respect is born. And self-respect is the soil belief grows in. Clarity is next. Because belief without direction is dangerous. It becomes arrogance. But clarity keeps you humble. It reminds you that life is not about doing more, it's about doing what matters. The question is not, are you busy? The question is, are you effective? Are your actions aligned with your future, or are you just filling your days with motion and calling it progress? Get clear, ruthlessly clear. What does your ideal life look like? Not just the money, the house, the car, but the feeling, the rhythm, the daily experience. Who are you with? What are you creating? What are you contributing? Because when your vision is clear, your decisions get sharp. Your time becomes sacred. You stop chasing trends. You stop trying to impress people who don't even like themselves. You stop saying yes to things that steal your fire. Purpose gives meaning to pain. It transforms struggle into fuel. It turns late nights into legacy and discipline into devotion. Purpose is not found, it's chosen. You decide what matters. You choose what you'll bleed for. And once you do, the world can no longer shake you. You're not distracted because you're lazy. You're distracted because you're disconnected from purpose. Reconnect. Sit with silence. Ask the hard questions. And then write your purpose in stone and your plans in pencil. Because the path will shift, but the reason never should. Now let's talk about urgency. Not panic, not hustle, not burnout. I'm talking about sacred urgency. The urgency that comes when you realize you're mortal, that you don't get to live forever, that your dreams expire the longer you delay them. Most people wait. They wait for permission, for certainty, for signs. But winners don't wait. They start scared. They move when it's messy. They take the first step when the staircase is still invisible. Why? Because urgency honors time, and time is the one currency you never get back. There are no refunds on wasted potential. So if you're breathing, you're not done. If you're reading this, your time is now. The moment is now. The window is now. Discipline is the bridge between your long-term vision and today's actions. It is the weapon of the wise, the armor of the uncommon. It's not punishment, it's preparation. Every act of discipline is a down payment on your destiny. Don't feel like showing up? Show up anyway. Tired? Show up. Doubting? Show up. Because the day you stop waiting to feel ready is the day you start becoming unstoppable. There's no traffic on the extra mile. Discipline rewires your nervous system. It teaches your body and your brain that your word is law, that when you say you'll do something, it gets done. That's how confidence is built. Not from praise, not from approval, but from evidence that you are who you say you are. Action turns hope into momentum. Hope is a spark. Action is the flame. And repeated action becomes the fire that can burn down every excuse that's ever held you back. You don't need a perfect plan. You need motion. Because clarity doesn't precede movement and it follows it. You figure it out by doing, not by waiting. What you do daily becomes who you are permanently. So ask yourself, are your habits serving your vision or stealing from it? The future is not a mystery. It's a mirror reflecting today's behavior. Gratitude is the secret weapon of the focused. Because gratitude makes you rich now. It quiets the noise. It reminds you that while you're chasing more, you already have enough to begin. A grateful mind is a resilient mind. Because when you live in awe of what is, you're not paralyzed by what's not. Gratitude grounds you, sharpens you, strengthens your soul. Adaptability is your competitive edge. Because the plan will break. The world will change. The market will shift. But the mission stays. The question is not, can you control everything? You can't. The question is, can you bend without breaking? Can you pivot without panic? The strongest trees are not the tallest. They're the ones that can bend in the storm. Adapt. Don't whine. Adjust. Don't crumble. Reroute. Don't retreat. Resilience is the echo of every time you said not yet instead of I quit. It's forged in rejection, molded in failure, strengthened in silence. When life tests you, it's asking, do you really want it? And every time you get up, every time you keep going, every time you refuse to surrender, you answer with your life. And finally, learning. Never stop learning. Because ignorance is expensive, arrogance is lethal, and growth is infinite. Study people who've walked the path. Learn from their scars, not just their success. Invest in your mind. It's the only asset that compounds faster than money. The moment you think you've arrived is the moment you begin to decline. Stay hungry. Stay teachable. Be a student of life, of greatness, of excellence. Because excellence is not an act, it's a lifestyle. It's how you do everything, not just what you do. And so, we return to where we began. Think long-term. Build something eternal. A life that echoes. A legacy that matters. But act with urgency, because the clock is ticking. And while everyone else is waiting, you will be moving. Not frantically, but fiercely. Not desperately, but deliberately. Not recklessly, but relentlessly. Because you don't have time to waste. And the world doesn't have time to wait. You were not born to merely consume. You were not placed on this earth to scroll, to survive, to kill time until the weekend. You were born to create, to shape, to influence, to move the needle of history in your own small or massive way. And make no mistake, history remembers the ones who chose to matter. The clock doesn't slow for the indecisive. It doesn't negotiate with the distracted. Every tick is either a step closer to your purpose or further from it. You don't get to hit pause. This is real time. Right now, as you hear these words, your life is becoming a story. The only question is what kind? Will it be the story of someone who talked about change or someone who became the change? Someone who had potential or someone who fulfilled it? Someone who waited for things to happen or someone who made them happen? You don't need 10 more years to become the person you know you're meant to be. You need a moment, a decision, a radical, no turning back commitment, a mental contract with your future self that says, I'm done playing small. I'm done negotiating with fear. I'm done betraying my calling. Because that's what procrastination really is. It's betrayal, not to others, but to yourself. Every time you delay what matters, you're choosing comfort over growth, familiarity over greatness, safety over significance. But when you start acting with urgency, true urgency, you become magnetic. You become disciplined. You become someone who moves with power, with speed, with clarity. Someone whose name commands attention not because they shout, but because they build. Think long term. Think in decades. Build in centuries. Leave behind a life so powerful, generations point to it and say, it began with them. But act like today is your last shot, because it might be. When you fuse vision with velocity, you become unstoppable. This is what it means to become elite. Not better than others, but better than your former self. Daily, ruthlessly, without apology. And it starts with ownership. Everything begins there. Own your time, own your energy, own your habits, own your results, own your failures, own your future. If you don't own it, you can't change it. No more blame. No more excuses. No more, I'll try. No more, maybe next year. There is no next year for the person who keeps postponing purpose. There is only regret. And regret is the heaviest weight a human being can carry. You don't need to wait to become great. You need to wake up. You need to sharpen your standards. Raise your expectations. Surround yourself with people who remind you what's possible to know, people who give you permission to settle. Because proximity is power. If you're the most driven person in your circle is a cage. Get around excellence. Get around hunger. Get around discomfort. It's in discomfort that destiny is revealed. Stop looking for convenience. Look for challenge. The world won't reward you for what you tolerate. It will reward you for what you transform. And you can't transform what you keep making excuses for. Listen, this is not about being perfect. Perfection is a trap. Progress is the goal. Resilience is the path. Excellence is the standard. Discipline is the vehicle. Purpose is the fuel. And urgency is the fire that keeps the engine burning. The reason most people never rise is simple. They keep hitting snooze on their soul. But your soul was not built for delay. Your spirit was not made for mediocrity. You were wired for greatness, hard-coded with potential, and born with brilliance buried beneath the noise of doubt and distraction. And if you want to uncover that brilliance, you must act as if your future is watching, because it is. You're building a relationship with who you're becoming. Every decision you make, every yes, every noise, casting a vote for the person you'll wake up as tomorrow. So how do you think long-term and act with urgency? You remember this. Legacy is the long game, but legacy is built today. You hold the vision, you stay married to the mission, but you sprint every day like the fire is already licking at your heels. Not from fear, but from conviction. You don't become great by accident. You build greatness brick by brick, decision by decision, morning by morning. You become great when you stop making greatness optional. Your mission must become non-negotiable. And when it is, your energy changes, your words change, your presence changes. You walk into rooms differently, you speak with clarity, you move with certainty. Because you're no longer hoping to become, you are becoming. The world can feel it. People don't follow the loudest voice. They follow the most convicted soul. Be that soul. You won't always feel motivated. That's fine. Motivation is a spark. But discipline is the torch you carry when the spark fades. And purpose is the map you follow when the road gets dark. You don't stop just because it's hard. You stop when the job is done. And you don't stop even then, you build again. Why? Because you're not just chasing results. You're becoming someone. And that someone demands more. More focus. More fire. More honesty. More hunger. Look, it's easy to start. Anyone can be excited on day one. But what matters is day 1,000. What matters is whether you'll keep going when nobody claps, when nobody notices, when nobody believes except you. That's when it's real. That's when the foundation is forged. That's when the future is built. You don't rise when it's easy. You rise when you realize ease was never the goal. Purpose was, power was, presence was. So think long term. See the 100-year vision. Build the legacy that lasts. But act like today is the only shot you'll ever get. Because in the end, the greatest tragedy is not death. It's reaching the end of your life and realizing you never truly lived, never fully gave, never poured yourself out. Don't let that be your story. You are the author. The pen is in your hand. The ink is your action. The story is still unwritten. And it begins not someday, not soon. It begins right now. Right now is all you have. Not yesterday, because regret can't be rewritten. Not tomorrow, because tomorrow is a lie, the weak use to justify their delay. Right now, this moment, this breath, this is the only time guaranteed. And the question is, what will you do with it? Will you waste it, like millions do, numbed by noise, suffocated by doubt, paralyzed by indecision? Or will you seize it like a warrior, taking the field fully present, fully alive, fully committed? This is not a practice run. This is not a simulation. This is your one wild and sacred life. And the clock is ticking whether you act or not. But let me tell you this. The moment you start honoring time, time starts honoring you. The universe responds to urgency, to hunger, to action. It rewards the bold. It feeds the relentless. It partners with the disciplined. You see, people think life is about finding themselves. No, life is about creating yourself, sculpting yourself. Every choice is a chisel, every habit a stroke, every sacrifice a shape carved into the marble of your becoming. But most are too afraid to swing the hammer. They tiptoe through life, hoping to arrive at death safely. But safety never built anything worth remembering. Comfort is a silent killer. It whispers sweet lullabies while stealing your potential. The ones who rise, they choose discomfort daily. They do the hard things while others are sleeping. They study while others are scrolling. They invest while others waste. They build when no one claps. They sacrifice what's easy for what's eternal. Why? Because they know something most people never figure out. Success is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters consistently, fiercely, obsessively. And that requires vision. Vision that pierces the fog of doubt. Vision that outlasts pain. Vision that sees not just what is, but what could be. You've got to see it before you see it. Feel it before you hold it. Believe it before you become it. Vision is the blueprint of greatness. But vision without execution is just a fantasy, a daydream, a castle built on clouds. That's why urgency matters. Urgency is the lifeblood of execution. Urgency takes your vision out of the clouds and plants it in the soil of action. Every morning you wake up, you have a decision. Will I build today or will I wait? The builder wins, not the dreamer, not the thinker, not the planner, the builder. And building is messy. It's slow. It's often unseen. But brick by brick, choice by choice, you start stacking a future no one can take from you. You want peace? Earn it. You want freedom? Discipline is the price. You want wealth? Serve, solve, and scale. Add value that echoes. You want impact? Live loud, live real, live honest. But don't just want it, work for it, sweat for it, bleed for it if you must. Because in the end, you don't get what you wish for. You get what you work for. You get what you commit to. You get what you refuse to quit on. And commitment isn't about feelings. It's about resolve. About deciding that no matter what comes, you will not break. You will not bend. You will not back down. Storms will come. People will doubt. Plans will fail. Doors will close. But if your spirit is forged in purpose and your feet are planted in action, nothing can stop you. You become the storm. You become the force that breaks through. You become the one people look to and say, if they can do it, so can I. And that is legacy. Not money, not fame, not followers, but impact, influence, integrity, living a life that means something, a life that leaves a dent in the universe. So think long term, build like it matters, move like it's urgent, because it does, and it is. And someday, when you're old and the mirror shows the lines of a life fully lived, you won't wonder, what if? You'll smile and say, I gave it all. You'll know deep in your bones that you didn't just survive. You transcended. You didn't just exist. You expanded. You didn't just chase success. You embodied it. You became the rare one, the one who saw far, but moved fast. The one who built slow, but lived fiercely. The one who remembered the truth. You are not here to blend in. You are here to break through. Now get up. Get moving. There is no later. There is only now. Now is sacred. Now is the fire beneath your feet and the voice in your head saying, let's go. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel like it. Not when the stars align. Now. Because every second you hesitate, someone else is taking ground. Someone else is reading the book you said you'd read, starting the business you dreamed of, running the miles you planned to run, speaking the truth you keep inside. Someone else is making your excuses irrelevant. But this isn't about comparison, it's about confrontation, confronting the part of you that's still asleep at the wheel, the part that wants guarantees before it moves, the part that confuses comfort for safety and fear for wisdom. That part has to die. If you want to live fully, if you want to lead, if you want to impact, if you want to stretch and scale and soar, you've got to bury your excuses and breathe urgency into your vision. Because vision without movement is a prison. A dream without a deadline is just a lie you tell yourself to avoid becoming who you were born to be. You want to be uncommon? Then move like it. Think like it. Decide like it. Uncommon people don't wait for clarity. They create it. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They define it. They don't ask, is this the right time? They make it the right time through sheer force of will. They understand that life doesn't reward the hesitant. It rewards the hungry. You have to be hungry. Hungry to change your lineage. Hungry to break cycles. Hungry to build something so deep, so wide, so unshakable that no storm, no setback, no doubt can touch it. You don't do that by reacting to life. You do that by designing it. And design requires vision. Design requires thought. Design requires intention. But design also requires speed. Not sloppy speed, not emotional speed, strategic speed. The kind of speed that comes when your goals are so clear that every decision becomes obvious. The kind of speed that shows up when you know that time is not a renewable resource. The kind of speed that's backed by purpose, focused by clarity, and driven by obsession. Yes, obsession. Forget balance. Forget average. Forget being well-rounded. Be excellent. Be laser-focused. Be so deeply immersed in your purpose that distractions can't even find you. Because if you don't run your day will run you. And if you don't take command of your future, someone else will. You must master time or time will master you. And the secret? It's not more hours, it's more intention. It's the quality of your focus, the integrity of your yes, the power behind your no. It's the ability to distinguish between what is urgent and what is important. Urgency does not mean panic. It does not mean burnout. It means priority with energy. It means you stop treating your goals like hobbies. It means you stop pretending you've got forever, because you don't. And that's a blessing. Death is the great clarifier. It sharpens the blade of purpose. It reminds us that every breath is borrowed and every heartbeat is a gift. So don't waste yours scrolling, doubting, wondering, comparing. Build. Now. Speak. Now. Write. Now. Lead. Now. Forgive. Now. Start. Now. Everything you want. Peace, power, impact, legacy. It's all on the other side of one decision. To stop living like you've got time to waste. You don't. So dream big but act small. Execute relentlessly. Build brick by brick. Don't romanticize the mountain fall in love with the climb. The late nights, the early mornings, the small wins, the unnoticed progress. That's where greatness is formed. In the silence, in the repetition, in the daily confrontation with your weaker self. Win that battle. Every day. Because success is not an event. It's a rhythm, a cadence, a lifestyle, a drumbeat of action in the direction of vision. Your vision. Long-term, legacy-level, outlive-you vision. But you bring that vision to life with urgency, with sweat, with intensity, with conviction so loud that your excuses can't breathe. So don't tell me your goals. Show me your calendar. Don't tell me your dreams. Show me your habits. Don't tell me your potential. Show me your progress. Because the world is not changed by the people who think about it. It is changed by those who act with urgency toward what matters most. Be one of those people. Move like the future is begging for you to show up. Because it is. Then listen closely. Because from this moment forward, everything changes if you let it. If you choose to stop dipping your toe in the waters of your potential and finally dive headfirst into the current of your calling. No more hesitation. No more halfway. No more living life like it's a rehearsal. This is the show. This is the spotlight. And you've got one chance to make it count. Your name, your legacy, your contribution to this world etched, not by luck, but by how urgently you show up now. The mistake most people make is assuming they'll have time later to give their best. They say, I'll commit when things settle down. I'll start when I feel more ready. I'll be serious when I'm older. But life is not a waiting room, it's a battlefield. And the longer you wait to swing the sword, the harder it is to hold. There is no perfect moment, there's only this moment. And here's the beautiful, brutal truth. You don't become extraordinary all at once. You become extraordinary by winning the ordinary. One decision, one workout, one difficult conversation, one early morning, one project finished, one moment where you chose the higher path, the harder way, the deeper truth. And that one adds up. Over time, those decisions become your identity. That identity becomes your character. That character becomes your future. The smallest hinges swing the biggest doors. So if you want a massive, world-altering life focus on the hinges, the reps, the rituals, the discipline, the uncomfortable, unsexy, often unnoticed choices, that's where momentum is made. And once you build momentum, protect it like it's gold. Because it is. Momentum is how the few lap the many. It's how the underdog becomes the legend. It's how someone with average talent builds an empire that makes geniuses wonder what happened. And it starts by treating every single day like it matters. Not some. Not the ones where you're inspired. Every day. Because greatness doesn't ask how you feel. It asks what you're willing to do when you don't feel like it. It asks, can you be faithful to your vision even when the results haven't shown up yet? Can you still grind when there's no applause? Still give when there's no guarantee? Still believe when there's no visible proof? That's what separates the rare from the rest. And here's the ultimate paradox. When you think long-term but act with urgency, you collapse time. You achieve in 5 years what takes others a lifetime. Because you stop playing the same small games, day after day. You stop chasing short-term dopamine and start building long-term dominance. You stop reacting and start creating. You stop trying to impress and start trying to impact. And that's when life starts to shift. Not because it got easier, but because you got stronger, more focused, more resilient, more ruthless with your distractions, more loyal to your standards. And when you stack that kind of energy every day, you start to build something unstoppable, something that echoes. And that is what you were born for. Not to play small, not to fit in, not to coast through life, hoping to avoid pain, but to rise, to lead, to leave behind proof that you were here and that you mattered. So if you can see the vision, act like it. If you can feel the calling, run toward it. If your future self is watching, give them something to be proud of. And remember this, time does not wait, but it does reward. It rewards the bold. It rewards the urgent. It rewards the one who chooses again and again and again to live on purpose. So choose. Now, then stand up internally, if not yet physically. Rise from the ashes of your delay. Rise from the graveyard of someday. Rise from the slow decay of potential left untouched. Because the world has enough spectators, enough critics, enough people waiting for life to get easier. It doesn't need more opinions. It needs more examples. Be the example of what's possible when someone stops playing the victim and starts playing the builder. Of what happens when someone rewrites their story line by line, choice by choice, habit by habit. Of what it looks like to stop breaking promises to yourself. Because that's where the real war is, isn't it? Not out there, but in here, in the mirror, in the conversations you have when no one else is listening. That's where success is either born or buried. So let's be honest. How long have you been negotiating with your greatness? How many times have you told yourself, next week I'll start, next month I'll focus, next year I'll change? You don't need more time. You need more truth. The truth is, you've got everything you need to begin right now. The truth is, the pain you're trying to avoid is the very furnace that forges your strength. The truth is, the longer you wait, the louder regret becomes. And regret, unlike failure, doesn't teach. It haunts. So trade your fear of failure for a fear of regret. Because failure is a bruise. Regret is a scar. Failure builds resilience. Regret buries dreams. And the truth is, most people don't fail because they tried and lost. They fail because they never really started. They waited, they hoped, they talked, but you will move. Because deep down, something inside you knows this life is not a game. This time is not forever. And this dream you carry, this idea, this vision, it wasn't given to you by accident. You were chosen to carry it. And not just carry it, deliver it. Birth it, build it, protect it from the thieves of distraction, doubt, and delay. So how do you protect a dream? With standards. You raise your baseline, you tighten your circle, you say no more often. You remove what dilutes you. You prioritize what strengthens you. Because focus is not just about saying yes to the right things. It's about saying no to the wrong ones with zero apology. You don't owe anyone your time. You owe your purpose, your life. And your purpose? It's not a cute phrase or a hashtag. It's a responsibility, a weight, a gift. It's the reason you feel that quiet, aching dissatisfaction when you know you're capable of more but still playing small. That's not anxiety. That's your calling tapping on the inside of your rib cage, begging you to pay attention. So pay attention. Your future is not written in the stars, it's written in your schedule, in how you spend your mornings, in how you handle interruptions, in what you do when no one's watching, in how urgently you act when everything in you says wait. Do not wait. Run, build, execute, refine, adjust, repeat. Don't ask for the path. Make it. Don't wait for permission. Take it. Don't hope for results. Command them. Because life doesn't give you what you deserve. It gives you what you demand. And you don't demand with words. You demand with work, with focus, with sweat, with a heart that refuses to surrender, and a soul that will not be silenced. That's how you change the trajectory. That's how you go from being a witness of greatness to the source of it. You stop reading the stories and start writing your own. And the title? Think long term. Act with urgency. Then keep your soul open, because what comes next is not for the faint-hearted. It's for the builder, the one with fire in their chest and weight on their shoulders, the one who doesn't flinch in the face of difficulty because they expect difficulty. They embrace it. They welcome it. Like a sculptor welcomes the hammer, knowing that pressure creates form and resistance creates strength. This is the truth they never told you. Ease will betray you. Comfort will seduce you. Approval will weaken you. But discipline, that will crown you. Sacrifice, that will shape you. Urgency, that will launch you. You must decide today, not tomorrow, to stop coexisting with average, to stop treating your dreams like side hobbies, to stop waiting for the perfect plan, and instead become the kind of person who executes relentlessly, ferociously, without apology. Because when you think long term, you no longer crave the applause of the moment. You crave alignment with your mission. And when you act with urgency, you no longer fear failure, you fear stalling. You fear stagnation. You fear waking up in 10 years realizing you never moved. There are two types of pain in life: the pain of discipline or the pain of disappointment. You choose. One weighs ounces, the other tons. One shapes you, the other shatters you. And what makes the difference? Not luck, not intelligence. Urgency. Urgency is the quiet whisper that says, today matters. It's the invisible fuel behind the greatest innovations, the greatest turnarounds, the greatest comebacks in human history. Think about it. Urgency is what drove a college dropout to build a company in a garage that would change the way the world connects. Urgency is what drove a boxer from poverty to greatness, not because he loved fighting, but because he loved what was on the other side of it: freedom. Urgency is what turns I wish into I will. And it's not inherited. It's not taught. It's chosen. Every single day. You choose to show up with fire or with excuses. You choose to finish the workout or quit halfway. You choose to write the script, launch the product, make the call, take the shot, while everyone else is waiting for confidence to appear. But confidence doesn't show up first, action does. And then, after 1,000 repetitions in the dark, confidence is the reward. Let me tell you something, there's no better sleep than the sleep that follows a day of full effort. When your head hits the pillow and you know you gave everything. No delay, no hesitation, no hiding. You emptied yourself into your craft, into your calling, into your future. That's real peace. You won't find it in pleasure. You won't find it in escape. You'll find it in the fight, the daily grind that most people run from, but the few lean into. So lean in, even when it's boring, even when it's thankless, even when no one claps, likes, comments, or cares. Because you're not building for their approval, you're building for your impact. And one day they'll ask how you did it, how you turned nothing into something, how you rose without a roadmap, how you endured what should have broken you. And your answer won't be luck. It won't be timing. It'll be, I stopped waiting. I started moving. I thought long term, but I acted like time was running out. Because it is. And those who rise, those who build legacies that matter, they don't waste time praying for perfect conditions. They build in spite of conditions. They make progress in chaos. They plant trees whose shade they may never sit under, because legacy is not about you. It's about those who come after you. So plant, build, move. Now, and if you still have breath in your lungs, your best chapter has not been written yet. Then breathe in deep. Let the weight of your potential settle into your bones, not as pressure, but as purpose. Because this world doesn't need more noise. It needs more fire. It needs men and women who are grounded in vision but forged in motion, who refuse to let another day pass on autopilot, who look in the mirror and say, if not now, when? If not me, who? You don't need more motivation. You need to remember who you are. You are not a product of your past. You are a force in motion toward your future. You are not here to repeat the cycles handed to you. You are here to break them. You are not here to fit in. You are here to stand out. And to do that, you must make war with passivity. You must slay the thought that whispers, later. Later kills dreams. Later dulls sharp minds. Later numbs the soul and trains you to tolerate mediocrity dressed as good enough. You were not made for good enough. You were made for greatness that humbles the room, for impact that echoes beyond your name, for focus so rare it looks like obsession to the untrained eye. So obsess. Obsess over your craft, over your word, over your schedule, over your mindset, over the details. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. If you cut corners now, you'll bleed opportunities later. If you keep telling yourself the same tired stories, I'm too late, I'm too busy, I'm too tired, you'll die with chapters unwritten. But if you replace them with new words, I begin now, I act anyway, I refuse to lose to myself today, you will become dangerous. And dangerous, people-focused, hungry, grounded people change the world. That's what this game is about. Changing the world by changing yourself. Not in theory, in motion. Not in one day, daily. And there will be days you fall short, days you fail, days you doubt. Good. That's how you know you're in the arena. That's how you know you're doing it right. If it doesn't cost you anything, it won't change you. So pay the price. Pay it in sweat, in solitude, in sacrifice. Trade temporary ease for permanent freedom. Trade short-term pleasure for long-term power. Trade reaction for discipline. Distraction for clarity. Comfort for contribution. Because in the end, you don't get remembered for how safe you played it. You get remembered for what you built, for what you became. And legacy isn't measured in years. It's measured in courage, in conviction, in consistency. People won't remember everything you said, but they'll remember how you moved. And when they ask how you did how you kept showing up, how you kept building when nothing seemed to work, how you kept acting like the future depended on it, you'll say, I didn't wait to feel ready. I didn't wait for permission. I didn't wait for perfect. I thought long-term, but I acted with urgency. Then lock in. Because we are not finished until your spirit is on fire. Until there is no doubt left in your chest, only drive. Until every cell in your body knows this is the moment. Not the end, not the climax, but the beginning of a new standard, a new story, a new version of you that no longer asks the world for permission because they're too busy watching you lead. And if you're still breathing, that means the mission isn't over. That means the world still needs your gift, still needs your vision, still needs your execution. Because vision without execution is delusion. Ambition without urgency is noise. Potential without discipline is regret waiting to happen. Don't let potential rot inside you because you couldn't move fast enough to bring it into the world. The truth? You are the only one who can. No one's coming to save you. Not a mentor, not a miracle, not motivation. You are the one you've been waiting for. So own your day, guard your time, speak your vision into existence, and then outwork the echo. The enemy is not failure. The enemy is fear disguised as logic. The enemy is the voice that says, be realistic. Take it slow. Don't push so hard. That voice doesn't belong to your future. It belongs to your past, to everything that wanted you average. Kill it, because the future is for builders, for warriors of time, for men and women who don't just chase opportunity, they manufacture it, who don't beg for breakthroughs, they become them. They walk with vision in their eyes and a storm in their step. They walk with urgency because they know while the world waits, they work. While others scroll, they scale. While most coast, they create. And when the dust settles and the noise fades and the world wonders how you did a thou, you went from unknown to undeniable. You won't say much. You'll just smile and say, I stopped waiting. I started building. I thought long-term, but I moved like the clock was running out. Not with silence, not with softness, but with fire. Because the end of hesitation is the beginning of greatness. And your greatness is not a future event. It is a present decision. To stop treating your life like a draft. To stop rehearsing and start performing. There will never be a sign that says, now it's time. You are the sign. You are the signal. You are the spark that turns intention into action and action into impact. And impact, it doesn't come from talent alone. It doesn't come from good ideas. It comes from relentless execution. It comes from waking up and putting your head down daily, even when the results are invisible, even when you are tired, even when you are doubting, even when no one understands why you're still going. But you know why? Because you're not just doing this for you. You're doing it for the future version of you who refuses to settle. You're doing it for every ancestor who didn't have the chance. You're doing it for the kids who will grow up in a world shaped by your courage. You're doing it for the legacy that will whisper your name long after your body turns to dust. That's the power of thinking long-term. It removes you from the trap of petty urgency rush for attention, for applause, for overnight wins. And instead, it roots you in the soil of something eternal. But thinking long-term doesn't mean moving slow. It means you move fast with meaning. It means you work now so that your children won't have to. It means you bleed in silence so your name will be spoken in reverence. And that's not ego. That's responsibility. That's calling. That's ownership of the space you were born to fill. So no, you will not delay. You will not wait to be picked. You will not shrink to make others comfortable. You will rise. You will run. You will build. You will look forward and see not just possibility, but inevitability. Because when vision and urgency collide, results are no longer random. They become mathematical. They become a law. Your success? Inevitable. Your breakthrough? Inevitable. Your impact? Inevitable. Not because it's easy, but because you decided. So let the world keep sleeping. Let them laugh, doubt, delay. But not you. You are awake. You are ready. You are moving like time is sacred because it is. And if today is your last shot, you're taking it with both hands. If today is the final page, you're writing it in bold ink. If today is the beginning of the next chapter, you're authoring it with fire. Because from this moment forward, you are no longer chasing greatness. You are embodying it. You are the living proof that long-term vision combined with short-term urgency creates unstoppable momentum. And now, with no applause, no audience, and no permission, you begin right here, right now, for good. Let them remember this as the day everything changed. The day you stopped waiting. The day you started becoming. The day you thought long-term, but acted with unshakable, unapologetic, undeniable urgency.